Pretoria will host the 6th edition of the FIH Indoor Hockey World Cup starting on Sunday. It will be men and women's categories featuring some of the world's best. South Africa open up their campaign against defending champions, that being Austria. I'm joined by the South African men's indoor hockey coach, Justin Rosenburg. Good afternoon, Justin. Thank you for your time to speak to the eNCA fans. You open up against Austria, as I mentioned, in the opening game. What are you expecting will come from that match?
Yeah, good evening, Arthur, and to all your listeners. Yeah, we obviously had some really good prep this week building up to our first opening fixture. Obviously, the opening fixture for the ladies, they were playing against Austria. The men, obviously, straight after that, as the opening fixture for them, we were playing against Australia.
All right, building up to the World Cup, what have been your areas of focus within the team, especially considering that South Africa's best showing at the World Cup is finishing in 10th place?
Yeah, the main focus coming out of our series down in Cape Town, where we obviously played against Namibia, we focused a lot on our combinations. We tried to play with a couple of more enthusiastic styles of play where we had 6 players on the park. We obviously got a card and we got 4. So we tried to make sure that we nullified some of those things to make sure that we are ready. And the guys are obviously prepping from an analytical point of view. Some of our video analysis, we've done a lot of work watching the Euros, the Pan America games, and obviously with the series down under where Australia took on New Zealand.
I mean, you have the talents of the Kasim brothers within your stable. What impact do they have or do they bring to this team?
I think if you look at those brothers, they've been playing hockey a long time together. They've got an X factor that any defensive structure across the world will fear them. And I mean, they're just ruthless. They back themselves. They know exactly where the next one's going. And they obviously have a great combination going forward, setting each other up to try and score as many goals as possible.
All right, having said that, since the World Cup is held outside of Europe for the very first time, how are you going to use home ground advantage for the teams that you're going to face that are some of the world's top teams?
I think there's 2 things that obviously that plays a massive factor, having a home World Cup. It's the first ever World Cup outside of Europe, so it's absolutely amazing. For number one, the fans will be getting behind the teams, so both the men's and ladies teams, the support will be absolutely amazing. The second thing is obviously the heat. Europeans are coming out of the middle of their winter from about -2, -3 degrees, and they're coming into Pretoria with high altitude and about 34, 35 degrees, so they'll be struggling towards the latter part of the game.
Namibia's returning after so many years. Do you see them being a threat for South Africa?
I think Namibia's obviously improved their hockey over the last couple of years, and a massive compliment to their coaching staff and their players. They're obviously trying to make a name for themselves, not just in Africa, but also in the world, and I think they've got a great combination going forward. But obviously, as defending champions of Africa, South African men's team will obviously make sure that we stake our claim as world beaters when we take on the opposition come Sunday.
All right, Coach, what will it take to reach the top 3 in your pool, and what do you wish to accomplish in this World Cup?
Well, obviously, we've done a lot of video analysis, as I said previously. The important thing is we're taking this game upon game. We've obviously got a goal set in mind. Number one, we want to break into the top 10 and make sure that we get 2 African nations through to the 2025 World Cup. Our biggest goal then would obviously be top 3, so we can make a quarterfinal and achieve our ultimate goal, and obviously that being top 6.